Hello boys and girls, welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about sample space diagram and what does it mean. Now, a sample space diagram shows all the possible outcomes of two events. Now, let's take a look at the question and we will understand more what does it mean. Question 3. Maria rolls a dice and flips a coin. Copy the sample space diagram. As you can see here, we call this a sample space diagram. And in this question, we're going to talk about two things together, flipping a coin and rolling a dice at the same time. Now, from flipping a coin, the outcomes or the possible outcomes are heads and tails. And each possible outcome of flipping a coin will be with an outcome from the dice itself. And flipping or rolling a dice will give you 6 outcomes, as you can see, from 1 to 6. And because we're doing this at the same time, we're going to get heads or tails and then a number on the dice. So the first outcome will be heads and 1 from the dice. Now we're going to read the questions and then answer them. Question A. Write in the possible outcomes. How many possible outcomes are there? Now let's write the outcomes and then we will count them. As we said, the first one will be H1. Second one, H2. Because H comes with 2, they meet here, so we write H2. And then H meets with 3, so it's going to be, very good, H3. Same idea, H will meet with 4, so H4. And then H5. And then H or heads 6. What does that mean? It means we might get heads and 1. So we might get heads on the coin and 1 from the dice. Heads from the coin, 2 from the dice. And it goes on like this. Now, we're going to fill the gaps of the tails. Now the tails might come with 1, so it's going to be tails with 1. Good. And then tails with 2, and then we have tails with 3, tails with 4, tails with 5, and tails with 6. So all of these are the possible outcomes of rolling a dice and flipping a coin at the same time. Now, how many possible outcomes do you see here? Very good. They are 12. So we write next to the question 12. How do you know the possible outcomes of rolling a dice and flipping a coin? You just take the outcomes of flipping a coin and multiply them by the outcomes of rolling a dice. So 2 times 6 equals 12. Very good. Now, let's continue with the next question. Question B. In question B, he wants you to work out 1. Probability of an even number and a tail. So when they say and, it means at the same time. So we're looking for even numbers with tail. Now, let's take a look at the tail part of the space diagram or sample space diagram. This is the tails part. Now, in this part, we're going to look for even numbers. Even numbers, we have 2, 4, and 6. So how many are they? Very good, they are 3. They are 3. And the possible outcomes, all of them are 12. So what's the probability of getting an even number with tails? It's going to be, very good, 3 over 12. 3 over 12. Now, let me remove this. So they are 3 over 12. Let's write it here. 3 over 12. And this is the probability of getting an even number and tails at the same time from rolling a dice and flipping a coin. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Probability of 3. Probability of getting 3. Now, let's take a look at the space diagram. How many threes do you see here? Yes, how many threes do you see in the outcomes? Very good, there are two. One with heads and one with tails. So the probability of getting 3 out of these outcomes, it's 2 out of 12. Very good. Now let's write it there. So it's 2 out of 12. 2, because we have two threes, out of 12 possible outcomes. And this is the probability of getting 3. Now let's move on. The last one says the probability of a number greater than 4 and ahead. So he wants a number greater than 4 and ahead. Now let's take a look at the head part of this diagram. As we can see, these are the heads. Now, from the heads here, how many numbers are more than 4? Very good, we have these two. So the probability of getting a number more than 4 and heads is going to be, very good, 2 out of 12. Very good, 2 out of 12. So we write it here, 2 out of 12. Very good. Make a box on it. So these are the probabilities of these events. Now, when you write a probability like this, you can simplify it. You can say it's 1 over 4 for this one. By simplifying, it means you divide both parts on the same number. So when we divide on 3, it's going to be 1 over 4. For this one, it's going to be 1 over 6. Very good. This one is the same, 1 over 6. And this is how you answer question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.